Alright, if you've been following along so far, we set up our three main pages using some of the iOS components. If you haven't followed along, again, go to the mockups folder in the resources for this project, and then open up mockups, and then go ahead and just open the lesson that's closest to this one, and just import that and follow along. Alright, so now it's time to design our request page, but before we do that, let's go ahead and set up our tab bar properly. So go ahead and open up our resources for this project. Once you're in here, go ahead and open the icons folder and then open up tab bar. And then you'll see three icons here for our tab bar. But we want to go ahead and actually add these in our components rather than these instances here. So go ahead and just select one of the tab bars here and then click go to master component here. Once you've done that, you can go ahead and now drag these icons into here. Let's go ahead and just drag them, and then let's go ahead and hold shift and resize them here. And click this constrain proportions, and then let's give them a width of 32. I'm just going to click this here and then add a layout grid, and let's go ahead and choose column and count of 3, and just change the opacity to 5%. And let's go ahead and close that. And this is where layout grids get handy. So let's go ahead and just double click in here and move these icons accordingly. We'll want our past services here. We want to switch these two, so we have our request tab here, and then our profile here as well. Let's open up our layers panel so we see what we're doing here. Let's get rid of this tint color. The tint color on this one and the tint color here. And then let's go ahead and just center these. Let's select our grid here and change the gutter to 2. That's better. And then go ahead and just center those along. That looks good. Let's add a text for each of them. So use T. Let's do profile. Resize this to maybe 14. And let's go ahead and just move that up. I think we can move our icons up just a bit. Let's do 5 pixels. Same thing here. And lastly here. And then just use Command D here. And one more time. Just make sure this is aligned. Now let's go ahead and just change the text here. We'll do services. And then we'll do request. Go ahead and just center those along. Same thing here. So let's go ahead and now remove the layout grid here. I think that looks good. We do want a way to show which tab is active. All right, so in order to show which page we're on, we're going to have a different selection color based on the tab that's selected. So let's create 3 instances for each of these being selected. And to do that, I'm going to just go ahead and select my whole component here, use Alt and drag away another one here, down here, and then just use Command D 2 more times. So we have the main component here and then 3 instances of that component. And then I'm going to create a component from each of those. So let's do component and then rename this one to tab bar / profile selected. Select this one here, create component, rename to tab bar / request selected. And then lastly here, we're going to create a component here and do tab bar / services selected, and there we go. And again, we're doing that so that we can easily toggle between each one in our mockup designs. So now head on over here to the tab bar / profile selected, and then let's go ahead and select our icon here. Change the selection color using the styles to our primary color. Same thing for the text here, and then applying this, the primary color. Let's do the same thing here, but for request. And lastly, let's do the same thing for services selected. One more time, I'm just going to go in here and make sure everything's centered. I think now everything's centered perfectly. Let's go ahead and go back to our mockups page now. And now, as you can see, I have this beautiful tab bar here showing different pages. Let's go ahead on our request page here. Go to where it says tab bar here, and then let's switch it to iOS UI components, tab bar, and then do request selected. There we go. And then let's do the same thing for profile. Let's go ahead and click this tab bar and do tab bar. And this one's profile selected. And last but not least, let's do tab bar, services selected. There we go. So we have a tab bar now designed for every page. And then we're going to go ahead and jump into designing our request page in the next lesson.